Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Chris and Nick Show. Post New York Giants victory. I am one of the hosts, Nick Vallado, joined as always by Chris Flum. And Chris, we had a nail biter, a 10-7 disgusting game that ended in the most fitting way possible. A 35-year-old wide left, not wide right, to bring back the nostalgia of our hearts, wide left field goal from the New England Patriots, a rookie kicker, sent it wide left, giving the New York Giants a 10-7 victory over the Mac Jones / Bailey Zappi led New England Patriots. It was gross. There are some cool takeaways we're about to go over, but Chris, how you doing?
Oh, after that game, I'm kind of just glad it's done. We are officially on the bye week, so that's good. This game was, I suppose, the best way to spin it was a defensive struggle. This was a showdown between two good aggressive defenses and two fairly watchable offenses. The offensive side of the ball was kind of an offense against football this week, but this game really was a repeat of last week. The Tommy DeVito, the Giants quarterback, got the snot beat out of him over the course of the game. Meanwhile, the Giants defense came away with a bunch of turnovers and put the offense in position to come away with enough points to win. And now the Giants are on their first winning streak of the year.
First winning streak of the year, 2 consecutive wins as the Giants go into the bye week. As you just mentioned, Tommy DeVito was sacked 6 times in this game. That's a step above what we had last week, right? Tommy DeVito did have some throws, though. There was a couple timing throws that I felt like were really synced up well. There was the one drop I think that Sterling Shepard had earlier in the first half. A couple throws of Jalen Hyatt up the sidelines. You had Jalen Hyatt shimmy J.C. Jackson out of his shoes. That was a really cool thing to see for the New York Giants' future moving forward. Jalen Hyatt had a really good game. He had 5 catches for 109 yards. That's on 6 targets. I mean, this is the first time a New York Giants receiver went over 100 yards in how long? I feel like it's been a little bit of time since a New York Giants wide receiver has gone over 100 yards. And those are just some of the positive takeaways from the offensive side. There's a lot more positive takeaways from the defensive side. But Chris, do you have anything on Tommy DeVito and Jalen Hyatt specifically?
I gotta say, the one play that really impressed me was that 41-yard pass, because in that play, the Patriots brought the house. They sent
Hmm.
a ton of pressure. They had a complete breakdown in the back end, which really allowed Hyatt to get behind. Was it J.C. Jackson on that one? The corner, whoever was in coverage, and DeVito read it quickly and delivered a good pass down the sideline. Maybe slightly underthrown, but considering he had a lot of guys in his face, the pocket collapsing around him, you really couldn't ask for much more. Yeah, overall, I think that kind of had to be the play of the game for really either team, except for, rookie kicker missing a 35-yard field goal in the rain. We were told beforehand that Belichick has been making one confusing, to say the least, mystifying coaching decision every game. And I think in this game, it was relying on a rookie kicker with the game on the line in the rain.
It's a 35-year-old or 35-year-old, 35-yard field goal. You expect the kid to make that. And, I'm sure he's going to be quite worried about his job security, but that's a conversation for another day and maybe another podcast. The New York Giants, though, listening to Bobby Okereke after the game, you could tell, man, the players, and I know Ed talks about this a lot on the website, the players wanted this win. A lot of fans were looking forward towards the draft. And I would say, hey, that's your prerogative as a fan. I'm never going to begrudge anybody for doing that. We want to maybe find a true solution to the quarterback situation that the New York Giants are in right now. But there's still plenty of football to be played. And the Giants just won 2 games against Sam Howell and now Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. They have 6 interceptions in the last 2 weeks. Chris, last season, when the Giants had a playoff victory, the entire year, they only had 6 interceptions, which is pretty wild to see how the defense is clicking, although they are taking advantage of some bad quarterback play.
Yeah, they really are. And now, things kind of get difficult again for them after this bye week. They'll have Monday Night Football I
Sure.
suppose we would have heard by now if the NFL was going to maybe flex that out and go with, say, Cowboys Eagles for the prime time game. But they've got Green Bay. Green Bay suddenly looks like they've got some life to them. Jordan Love looking a little bit better. They've got a good defense. The New Orleans Saints shortly after that. So, and of course, the Giants are going to have 2 games against the Eagles themselves. Yet they, I don't know that they are going to have quite as easy a time feasting on these turnovers that they had the past 2 games against Sam Howell and uh, Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, whichever one I suppose is the starter going forward.
And those two quarterbacks, they were only sacked twice in this game. But despite that, man, just watching five out there, watching Kayvon Thibodeau fly around the field, man, making plays on the edge against Ezekiel Elliott and Ramondre Stevenson, harassing the quarterback, defeating offensive tackles cleanly. And you're seeing he's just somebody that, look, it's a sophomore season, just arrow pointing up, trajectory high. Just keep aiming for the stars, Kayvon Thibodeau, because it seems like you're landing amongst them. And I'm very, very intrigued and interested to see what this young man is going to be able to do moving forward. Hopefully, when the Giants are a little bit more competitive. So that's another thing we could take away here. Yeah, the Giants are winning football games. Are they getting knocked down the draft order a little bit? Yeah, they are. But how do our young guys look? We talked about Jalen Hyde at the top of the show. Then Kayvon Thibodeau on the defensive side of the football has looked pretty good as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of fans who are very frustrated with Joe Shane, but a lot of his draft picks are paying off right now. Wandale Robinson is a good receiver. He is a good option. He's very, very slippery in that short to underneath area. He's got that background as a running back, so he can handle those uh, fly sweeps, the toss plays behind the line of scrimmage. Then you've got Jalen Hyatt stretching the field. He's got much better ball skills than Darius Slayton. He is honestly a much bigger threat down the field than Slayton is, particularly at this point. Then you've got Mike McFadden playing kind of out of his mind as a player who was benched twice last year. DJ Davidson looked pretty not bad out there, even though the Patriots did have some pretty good runs up the middle. I thought that mostly happened when the Giants went for that 2 down lineman look. Their 3 down lineman looks held up a bit better with Dexter Lawrence out. But then you've got Kayvon out there, and yeah, he is developing very, very well. Yeah, he had that kind of sort of a sack. I am actually a little surprised they gave that to him. I thought it was Mac Jones at that point was beyond the line of scrimmage when Kayvon tracked him down, but I guess close enough for the NFL. But the way he plays in reaction to those screen passes that the Patriots were relying on because neither of their quarterbacks could throw downfield. Yeah, he was so quick to read them, so quick to disengage from the blocker and get out and make a play on the ball on the outside runs, those screen passes. He is becoming a very rapidly becoming a complete defensive end out there. And he might not have the same pass rush upside as, say, Miles Garrett or Micah Parsons, where it almost doesn't matter who's lined up across from him. He's going to give them headaches, but he is just such a good run defender in addition to rushing the passer. And he has a knack for making timely plays.
He does have a knack for making timely plays, and he was just picking up on what the Patriots were doing offensively. It's not like they were doing anything too creative because they're so limited at the quarterback position. Damn, does Mac Jones look awful
Oh,
out there. Bailey Zappi, not that much better, but Mac Jones looked awful out there. And what the Patriots were doing was run up the middle. And I think Jonathan Vilma said this a bunch of times throughout the game, but it was pretty obvious. We're going to run up the middle, and then we're going to throw to the outside, little quick screen passes to Demario Douglas, who looked pretty good every time he got the football in his hands until Cam Brown took his head off on that one punt return, knocking him out of the game. But it was easy to figure out for the Giants. But if you were an edge rusher, I should say, because you
yeah.
could start to see if it is a pass and they're not handing the football off, let me just get into that passing lane. And Kayvon did that in a solid manner, in my opinion. But 3 interceptions. The one by Xavier McKinney was one where once I realized, I think it was a play action pass, Bailey Zappi was dropping back to throw, and he was taking a little bit of a long time on that deep over route. I was like, I think this is going to be intercepted. And I couldn't even see Xavier McKinney on the field at the time. And then you just see 29 just dart and undercut that pass to intercept it. You had 3 interceptions by this New York Giants defense, which is turning into a turnover machine the last 2 weeks. And that's all amidst these reports of Wink Martindale and Brian Dable having some sort of fracture, which is something else we can maybe touch on at another time. But it is unfortunate because I do really appreciate the defense that we are seeing from Wink Martindale and that we have seen over the last season and a half.
Yeah, particularly since the Giants defense gives up yards. They're not highly ranked, they're not highly rated. They faced some very good offenses this year, so they're going to give up points, particularly as, you know, they have a very inexperienced secondary. They've had guys going on and off the field with injuries, but even dating back to last year, Wings defense really has been the strength of this team. And the pressure they are able to apply on opposing offenses, forcing them to make mistakes, has really been at the core of every single Giants win over the last 2 years. So I hope that Martindale, Wink, and Brian Daboll are able to smooth things over, but I feel like it would be a shame for the two to part ways because they seem to have complementary philosophies on football.
It does. It does seem like that. They want to dictate a lot of the times. At least last season, we saw Brian Dable dictate maybe a little bit more than he did this season. Also, we have on the defensive side Deonte Banks with his second career interception on a on a pretty egregious Mac
Yeah,
Jones overthrow. But I gotta say, just all in all, overall, rookie cornerbacks look they can struggle. We've seen Deonte Banks struggle. It hasn't been a perfect season for him, but I've been impressed with this kid just since he's basically arrived. I know he's given up some touchdowns in the red zone, but I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Deonte Banks. What about you?
yeah, he is maturing nicely. Yeah, I think the most impressive thing with that interception was that he made it, that he was able to get that second foot down inside. It kind of reminded me. I don't know if you watched the Iron Bowl last last night between Alabama and
Yeah,
Auburn, but that touchdown at the end where. Or I'm sorry, no, it wasn't the touchdown. It was catch along the sideline where the receiver was just it was amazing that he got his foot down and didn't land 2 yards out of bounds because he went up and it seemed like he was never going to come down. And it looked like Deontay Banks was going to just go flying out of bounds and basically it just be an incomplete pass, which I know Mac Jones would have loved because those interceptions he threw were backbreakers for the Patriots. Yeah, I think it was Vilma who commented during the game that this could have been very different if the Patriots hadn't thrown those interceptions because they were in position to score when they turned the ball over twice, I believe. And those were really just back-breaking plays. Good for the Giants for being opportunistic and taking advantage when they put the ball in danger like that. But man, you can't count on that week in, week out. Not at the NFL level.
no, you can't, man. And it was, dude. You look at the play by play log on ESPN. It's disgusting. It's 5 plays fumble, 3 play punt, 4 play punt, 9 play punt, 5 play punt, 4 play interception, 4 play punt, 3 play punt, 3 play punt. It just like goes on until you start hitting some of the turnovers, and then the two Giants touchdowns or the 2 touchdowns, I should say, one by Ramondre Stevenson that were scored in this game. But man, just a disgusting game at this point of the season. At least the Giants have a bye week. Hopefully they can get healthy. Andrew Thomas can heal up. You have Dexter Lawrence hopefully heal up, get his big rear end back on the football field. But Chris, anything else before we get out of here?
No, all I have to say is over the bye week, the Giants need to get healthy and also maybe root for some of the bad teams surrounding them to win. The Giants should be rooting for the Buccaneers. They should be rooting for the Commanders, the Bears, the Patriots, the Panthers. Yeah, because right now fans want the team to win and players obviously want to win. But the season isn't really going to be going anywhere. We've talked a lot about that and the Giants need an infusion of talent. They need to continue to build this core of talent. And yeah, better draft picks are going to make that easier. Just having the opportunity to pick players. And you know, it's a tough thing to have the 30,000-foot strategic view right here in the middle of the season, but this team looks a lot better with, even if the Giants don't draft a quarterback, getting a Marvin Harrison Jr. or say a Dallas Turner to go across from Kayvon Thibodeau, or the, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his name on the fly, but the right tackle from Oregon State, or Ola Fashanu out of Penn State. You know, these are all, the Giants need that infusion of talent. So yeah, I just hope, yeah, the wins are great. I just hope they're not Pyrrhic victories in the long run.
Or they need the infusion of talent that they've received over the last couple of years to actually develop into their potential. And I'm really referencing Evan Neal, who firstly needs to get healthy before we can really
Yes.
start thinking about that. But that's one major thing that we have to look at. And like, the Giants need Evan Neal to develop into the tackle that they thought he would be on the right side of the line of scrimmage. And until that happens, you know, I don't know what the Giants are going to think about investing high draft capital back into the tackle position. So we'll have to wait and see how they feel about that. I don't know who the offensive line coach is going to be next year. There's going to probably be a lot of turnover on this staff, a lot to still play out. But as of right now, the New York Giants got that 10-7 victory over the New England Patriots to head on into the bye week. Chris, any parting words?
Nope. Everybody enjoy the bye week. You know, maybe sleep off some of your turkey. Weather kind of not great outside.
No.
Good time to just, stay in, enjoy yourself.
Stay in and enjoy yourself. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Chris and Nick Show here on Big Blue View Radio. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the podcast wherever you get the podcast. And also head on over to bigblueview.com. Check out all of our written content. Take care of each other and have a lovely one.